Good morning. Thanks Dr. Ramesh and the whole team of Kumbhathon for yet another hackathon that we are blessed to have in Nashik. Just for my information, how many of you people sitting here are from Nashik? If you can just raise the hand. Okay, most of you, right? And those who are coming from outside? Oh, a lot of them. And how many of you are from the engineering background? Either learning engineering or engineers? And how many into software, coding, IT, AI? A lot of them. Thank you. So here is an opportunity for you. Anyone who is from 2015 version of Kumbhathon? Oh, very few. And like all of them a bit old now. So here is an excellent opportunity since most of you are from, how do I, the pointer is not changing. Huh? Pointer nahi, slides. Slide changer. Yes. So most of you are from Nashik, and we know Nashik for several things. One is Ramayan, Kumbh Mela, Samudra Manthan, so many temples. So it has a very distinct religious and cultural character. The next thing we know about Nashik is lots and lots of manufacturing industry. Some of them are like really high tech. You have an industry where you build aeroplanes, advanced manufacturing equipment, and all that you can think about in advanced manufacturing. And then the people will be one of the leaders in the new technology, that is IT, AI, and ML. So we really are the city of mantra, yantra, and tantra. And we should leverage this excellent opportunity that is provided by this excellent city to innovate and scale up whatever innovations and products that you want to build. You all know this area, right? This small kunda in the center is Ram Kunda, where lakhs of devotees will go on the Parvani day to take the holy dip. So you can imagine the pressure that the city's infrastructure will witness on the day of Parvani. This is that place, maybe 1500 square meter of area where everybody wants to go, and in extremely congested locality of Nashik. And this is a shot from last Kumbh Mela. You don't really see a square foot of land which is vacant. Everywhere you see just people, and then there are lots of them in the lanes and by lanes. So what can you think of an opportunity here, if you can just try to speak out when you want to do, develop any new product, which this kind of scenario that we are going to have, and which may not be available elsewhere also. So I can think of one situation where you want a data on a large scale, right? Data is new oil, you all know that. And AI and ML engines essentially develop, get fine-tuned, get improvised if you have more and more data. This is a Kumbhathon innovation of 2015, where they got a mobile cell tower data and created a dashboard showing hotspots of the crowd. So you know where the number of people per unit area are more, and then you can also do several other things related to that, like crowd management. You know which are the areas which are at risks from various perspectives. So this is one such innovation that we saw in the last version of Kumbhathon. But then there are several other options. For example, not only crowd and public safety related issues, public health was also a very, it will also be an excellent opportunity to track, let us say, symptoms and identify an upcoming or likely epidemic or outbreak in which we can intervene and take appropriate action. We can think of n number of things. River ecosystem, for example. The quality of river always will become an issue. So you can have something, some kind of, let us say, sensor, which is going to measure the biological oxygen demand of river in the real time, so that we are aware how the river water is actually clean or not clean, and then of course infrastructure. We will be having like lots and lots of infrastructure projects coming up, and all of them, I remember one such initiative last time where geotagged photos of all the infra which were getting developed were getting posted in a public domain. So it creates a opportunity for social audit of expenditure of taxpayers' money. So we have lots and lots of ideas which you can think, deploy initially at a pilot, and then scale up. But then Kumbh is not the only thing that government provides an option. If you see what government is doing in the area of digital technologies, this was just one example. But I would like to go back to what the government of India is doing right now. We are creating what is known as digital public goods. So public good is something which is generally not created by private sector or businesses or market, because there are not enough financial incentives, right? So you have, let us say, different companies like Mahindra, Tata, Ford, Hyundai, they manufacture cars because they can sell it at a profit. But where do these cars run? They run on a road. And no one wants to manufacture road. I'm just keeping this BOT, PPP roads aside for a moment. They don't want to manufacture road because there is no profit in manufacturing road. So this is where the market fails. And what do we do then? We call them a public good because it must be developed by the government, so that these different competing businesses, they develop their models best suited for customers of various choices, various spending capacities, on which these cars can run. So some similar equivalent India is doing as far as digital public goods are concerned. Now, can you give one example of digital public good that India has? Like, anybody? Yes. UPI, right? But then Aadhaar, somebody said Aadhaar, right? So Aadhaar is one such initiative which costed less than $1 billion, but it created that multiplier effect into 100x, 1000x, I don't know how much. And we are the only country to have digital identity at this scale. Imagine if you go to any place in the world, generally, except for some countries, you need your passport or some other document to go and actually verify yourself that you are Mr. Whatever XYZ, or I am Mr. Praveen. You need to go to the office, show your passport, they will tally your photograph, and then they will do what is known as KYC or Know Your Customer or eKYC. But in India, what you can do, you can just go, press your thumb or show your face in the camera, or enter your mobile number, get OTP and share. There are different ways of validation, and you are instantaneously verified as Mr. Praveen. So you imagine the simplicity in eKYC that this Aadhaar has brought in. On the top of this, so we have like 135 crore plus Aadhaars now. On top of it, this was the reason we could scale up the financial inclusion from around like 2015-16 in the next 4 or 5 years, from almost nowhere to maybe 80, beyond 100 crore of bank accounts, and most of them were like Jan Dhan. And we also were witness to the mobile revolution that we have had in the last decade. So we have this Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile, popularly known as JAM or JAM Trinity. And this actually simplified, so this is kind of providing a foundation layer based on which we are building various things on top of it. And we tend to call it India Stack. It's a kind of stack. Based on this JAM Trinity, we are building our digital ecosystem. And we are the only country in the world to have this kind of stack at this scale. And we must be proud of it. It's a phenomenal development. UPI example you gave is built on the top of this JAM Trinity. And the figures are mind-blowing. I think we are clocking currently maybe 17, 18 crore transactions, digital transactions in 1 month, which is more than 50% of digital transactions in the world. We are 1/6 of the world in terms of population, but we are clocking more than 50% of digital transactions in a world. So this is the power of API. And how this was enabled? Because banking sector was relatively more computerized to start with, The UPI is a kind of connecting rod or that highway which connects all the banking digital technologies such as Bank of India, State Bank of India, HDFC, ICICI, in addition to newer products such as Paytm, Google Pay, everything, to that one platform which provides that interoperability. And this interoperability is not available everywhere. I was in the US for 1 year. There is something like Paytm, Google Pay there, that was known as Venmo and Zelle. But if you want to send money from Venmo to Zelle, you can't do that. You have to send money from Venmo to Venmo or Zelle to Zelle. So this interoperability thing is missing, and which was enabled here by having protocols, right? Most of you are into software. So you have this protocol called SMTP in the world of email, right? So what happens? You can send email from hotmail.com to yahoo.com to gmail.com, and it's not restrictive, like you must send from Hotmail to Hotmail. This is possible because you have protocols. So what government is doing, it's building protocols, it's building standards, it's building those platforms or highways of interoperability, which has enabled an innovation, a great innovation such as UPI. UPI is also an excellent example of public-private partnership. All the banks and government have come together to form one single body, National Payment Corporation of India, NPCI, which has developed this platform and has scaled it up. The other thing that you must remember is that government is more of a facilitator now. You see us as more of a regulators. Like, don't do this, don't do that, you do this only in this way. But what I'm going to talk now is that we say that, okay, this is the playing ground, and you play as per your wills, catering to the needs of market, but we provide that playing ground which is level, which is fair. Nobody will be favored, but everybody will get an equal opportunity, be it a database. For example, data is very important. So you have various registries which are coming up. I'll talk about them. Everybody has an equal access to the database through something known as digital sandbox, exposed through APIs, so that you can develop your products. And I think I will discuss about health and agriculture, these two topics where I have worked and I'm working a little bit. And so you must see us as a facilitator. And the other thing is that government is generally not a customer. You should understand that, because we are kind of monopoly. So we come with we generally provide those highways, but we will purchase only a small number of cars. So you have to identify what are the opportunities that are available in the market, what are the gaps, what are the felt needs, and what are the unfelt needs which are not felt by people, but they are actually requiring it. And you have to think through and design whichever product you want to design. So couple of examples at the national level, the Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission, ABDM. So this is something similar to UPI, but it's a UPI of healthcare. Now you go to different hospitals, you go to Sahyadri, you go to government hospital, you go to Manavta, HCG, whichever, Apollo. There is a health information provider. You go to one hospital and the doctor writes something. Let us say he's typing some diagnosis and his prescription, and you go to a pharmacy. But what happens, let us say there was no paper. How does that pharmacy will know what the doctor has written in his computer? That's a different software. It's kind of standalone software. It may not. So ABDM provides these building blocks which facilitate transfer of data created by that doctor or health information provider and a pharmacist or a relative or a public health program, anybody who wants to use it. The health information user can pull that data by taking a consent through digital consent manager and ensuring all the privacy. So this is a very simplistic explanation of what is being done in ABDM and how this has been enabled. So we discussed about these basic building blocks on the bottom, on which we are building this skyscraper of digital technologies. We have digital registries. So these are important to provide a single source of truth. Any platform any digital, let us say let's talk an example of Practo, a very prominent platform for teleconsultation. What it used to do, because it came before ABDM, for onboarding every doctor, a doctor will claim that I am a nephrologist, right? but then he may be MD internal medicine or MD plus DM. You have to go and verify, and it costs a lot of rupees for that. In fact, there are people who are not doctors but claim to be doctors, no? And there are a lot of them in India. So how do you verify? Because it has a huge legal, financial and health implications. So what government did, started building a registry of healthcare professionals or doctors, nurses, etc. So what happens, you save that amount of the startup, it can focus on innovation, and it is spared of those efforts of going and looking for doctors and identifying and onboarding them. So it is saved with those many, and big players, they cannot outperform smaller player but innovative player so easily. So it provides that level playing field. So this single source of truth is one such idea, which was these registries. Other idea is this number, Ayushman Bharat Health Account or ABHA or Health ID, that was created. So we talked about an example where the record created by doctor was pulled by a pharmacist. Now there may be like hundreds of Pravin, Gedam in India, I don't know. But then I have only one health account which is linked with Aadhaar, so it's unique. And based on that, the system allows you to pull all the records together from all the hospital, pharmacies, laboratories, health lockers, radiology centers, everything. And it can present a longitudinal health record. So your longitudinal health history is available to every single person. So these are different type of innovations. I won't go into detail, it's a different story. But then you people come here. You have all these things exposed through APIs, there are standardized protocols exposed through API. You decide what you want to develop. Now, financial transaction ecosystem is a bit simpler. One person is sending money to other, that number is there and limited number of data points, limited number of data sets are there. But when you talk about health system, you have prescription, you have diseases. Now diseases are also not standardized. One doctor writes diabetes mellitus, the other doctor writes simply diabetes, the third doctor writes DM, and all of them are correct, but computer doesn't understand that, so you have to have standardization of diseases, organs, drugs, everything. So one more registry. So all those things have been done by the government. What you do, you focus on what is the need of the market. So one startup said, okay, I will cater to the requirements of diabetes patients to enable him to track and create a graph of HB1AC by pulling records of his HB1AC and blood sugar levels, so that whenever he goes to the doctor, he can show it, or a doctor can pull it out in his mobile and give appropriate medication. So there are like so many different use cases, and that's why there is no single app which can satisfy the requirement of all the stakeholders in the ecosystem, and that's how you get an opportunity to start innovating. And as far as I know, there are 10,000 plus startups in the health tech alone in India. So we discussed this partly before this. This is how it works in the USA. You have these two big major health tech companies called Cerner and Epic. If you want to have your record seen, you have to have this Epic software. But if you want to have money from somebody having Google Pay and you have a Paytm, you still can get money. Or you can send email from Hotmail to Gmail. Because we have a system like this in India which is coming up. This is known as Beacon protocol or open protocol, which allows this interoperability and kind of, and this is also used in another project of India that is known as ONDC, the Open Network for Digital Commerce, right? So we have something like Amazon. The seller and buyer has to be on Amazon, creating a monopoly, or if there's a Flipkart, so duopoly, but then Amazon ends up taking 25-30% of commission. You don't want to pay that much commission. So you come to ONDC. Anybody can come. If tomorrow Amazon joins this, then everybody on Amazon comes on ONDC. So that's how you, and basically Paytm started like this and it came here. So that's how you basically build an ecosystem and prevent monopolies. And this initiative, so far, you'll be surprised to know that we have now 72 crore health accounts created in India. So maybe half of you are having health account because it is getting created the moment you do any digital health transaction. Like if you are going to a government hospital OPD, the ABHA account gets created. you are registering on CoWIN for COVID vaccination, the Aadhaar account gets created. It takes a consent, but we are all habituated to tick I agree without reading. So it's done by consent. But we have now 72 crores Aadhaar IDs, to which 47 crore health records have been linked. So it's not a big number as it's like less than half record per person. But you imagine when this 42 crore in such short time it becomes 500 crore, 1000 crore, then you will start realizing the potential of this health data. And this is a study done by BCG, and I was like presently surprised to find this figure. I cross-checked whether it is really 200 billion. They said, oh yes, 200 billion, not 200 million. This is the potential that will be unlocked by ABDM as per this report. Because of two things, they are creating new market requirements, something which was not existent, like teleconsultation was not there pre-COVID to that extent, and also bringing the efficiencies by reducing duplications, redundancies, this thing. The other thing that I want to talk, and very, very relevant for Nashik, because we are a kind of agriculture, we are known for our great agriculture. So you think of another very complex ecosystem, that's an agriculture. So you have a farmer. So you have like farmers, say let us say Rakesh Kumar, there are like 1000 Rakesh Kumars or 1 lakh Rakesh Kumars, but you have a farmer ID, so which identifies him. Then there are land parcels, survey number so and so, different survey numbers, different scripts, different languages, everything in different states. Then you have crops. A single crop is known by different names, rice, bhat, dhan, no, different names for the same crop. And so how do you basically standardize? So all these things is done by what is known as AgriStack, which is yet another part of India's stack. And how this is happening? So we again want to have a single source of truth. So rice, bhat, dhan, everything should be known by one name. So we have a crop registry, farmers registry, land registry, the crop sown registry. If you are aware of something called Satbara, there is every year they write, you have sown soybean on 3 hectares in Kharif 2024, right? All this comes in crop registries. And this is getting kind of crowdsourced. So there is something known as e-Peak Pahani app. Now we have digital crop survey app. So all this data is getting populated, and once you have enough database, we also have a data of weather. If you Google Nashik weather today, you will get the temperature and all those details. But then government has already installed automated weather stations at mandal levels. So there will be like more than 100 mandals in Nashik district, and they are going to do it at village level now in the next couple of years. So you have real-time weather data in some server. You have soil health data. Every soil has NPK, sodium, so nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. So major elements. You have the soil health database. You have so many databases which will be exposed through APIs. Now you are from Nashik. You can think of one crop which Nashik is known for, please. Onions, grapes. And now what are the problems that you can think of when you think of onions? Storage. And a very political crop, please speak out. Prices, right. So prices of onion sometimes decide which government will be in the power. It's that a powerful crop. No? It makes you cry, literally. So, can you think of some solution here which will help prevent fluctuations or at least predict the prices? So this was what was discussed in one of our meetings. Our district collector and agriculture officers were there. So we were like, it was a random idea, if anybody wants to pick it up. That crop sown registry, you have a database of how much onion was sown over the period of last few years. Then there is some market rate database. What is the rate? Then there is a weather data. And if you can have a model, some kind of mathematical model, which can predict the two things. With this kind of weather, this is how the onions grow, this is how the crop yield is. And then this much of onions in the market, these are the rates. And once the sowing starts, and if the sowing figures are going and hitting some particular level, then probably you can have an alert. Enough of onions, let's not sow it, let's look for some other crop, and farmers can shift to other crop, those who are trying to sow late, so that the rates are also reasonable, there is no glut or flooding of particular crop in the market. So you can think of various ways You can think of an option if you have enough database. With this kind of soil, with this particular seed brand, and these particular kind of weather patterns, rainfall, these are the pests which are likely to come more often. And then there is also a regular photograph of crop. If you see particular spots on leaves, you can, in fact, there are rudimentary apps already available who are doing these kind of things right now. So you can think of various other, I think the Digital Impact Square is now housed in Sahyadri Farms. And they may be an excellent place. And this came out of last Kumbhathon. Digital Impact Square came out of last Kumbhathon. It got housed in Sahyadri now. So maybe Sahyadri and these people who are here, they can try to solve this very Nashik specific problem, and it will be of great benefit to everybody. This is another example which was getting piloted. So farmer getting a crop loan. It's a laborious, tedious process. But now with all these digital artifacts, those registries, the technology, eKYC, the CIBIL score also getting plugged into it, you can just apply for crop loan through Kisan Credit Card, and it can be done in a matter of 10-15 minutes. This is getting piloted somewhere in India. So all these opportunities which government is enabling in the field of digital world, they are really exciting. And I request all the people sitting here to focus on the problems of the society, identify a specific business case for that, test. I request the government officers from various departments here to give the insights that they have, other domain experts to please give the insights that they have, so that young people of Nashik and those who have come to Nashik to explore this opportunity are properly guided, and we create. So we are known for Samudra Manthan, right? Kumbh Mela is Samudra Manthan. So we do Vichar Manthan, we do Amrut Manthan and create those, so those 14 Ratnas came out. So let us have 14 or 1400 and 40,000 startups coming out of this excellent Kumbhathon initiative. I wish you all the best. Thank you. Any questions? Should I take questions? Okay, questions? Yes. Yeah. Nashik, the difference between Nashik Kumbh and Prayagraj Kumbh. Prayagraj Kumbh is much bigger, much famous. They do it every 6 years, Arth Kumbh and Mahakumbh. But we are very unique in couple of respects. We have Kumbh at two places, Nashik and Trambakeshwar. But we have Kumbh in the middle of congested city. It's very, very challenging. You know, Prayagraj Kumbh is out of the city on open land, hundreds of hectares, very open space. Logistical issues are comparatively less, though the scale is much bigger. Nashik Kumbh is the middle of city in Panchavati area, and that's a huge challenge. It's in monsoon season, that's another challenge. So monsoon will have its own challenges like slippery roads and additional problem of epidemics, and there are lots of food which is getting cooked here and there. So those additional food poisoning cases. So you have some unique opportunities available in Nashik which are not available in Prayagraj. Nashik also has much better industrial ecosystem. So you have to leverage that. You have like few good industry leaders sitting in first few rows of this hall. I think you should also leverage that, again missing in Prayagraj. And we have this excellent Kumbhathon which is not there in Prayagraj.
Good morning, sir. This is Dr. Atish Daryapurkar from IIIT Nagpur. I am attending this Kumbhathon as a mentor and a incubation in charge. So from IIIT Nagpur, around 50 teams participate in Smart India Hackathon. And Smart India Hackathon addressed the problem given by the lot of ministry.
The voice is echoing.
So, yeah. So the students work on that problem, but sometimes they face the problem of data. So whatever the data now the government collected, like doctor, farmer, so can that data is available for the students to design any app or website or any user-friendly platform?
Yeah. So when government wants to share data, it wants to share it in a transparent, fair and open manner. So all these registries which I discussed with you, they are reasonably populated when it comes to health stack. Not yet that much populated for agri stack. You can access those registries directly by applying to sandbox.abdm.gov.in. You just fill a simple form which takes less than 10 minutes. you get a key to that sandbox and you start deploying your product in that experimental space. After you develop it, you do security testing and deploy it in the production. So that's how it works. The data access, that's how it works. Whatever is there, government wants to provide, it's provided in a very transparent manner, and you must make use of it. Yeah. So that you can start competing with practice of the world. Yes.
Hello, Dr. Gedam. My name is Bal Mahalik. I was involved with the earlier Kumbhathon as well. My question is that there have been some news items that said that Nashik has received 2,000 crores of money for Kumbh Mela. What is government strategy to invest and make the Kumbh Mela a better experience through that kind of money that the government is getting?
Okay, we are talking about Kumbh Mela rather than Kumbhathon, right? So there is nothing like 2,000 crore. The figure is not yet finalized, but I'm sure it will be more than 2,000 crore. Last time only we got 2,400 crore. That was in 2015. So it will be bigger, so much bigger, I presume. And the strategy is basically you want to have incident-free Kumbh Mela. You don't want to have a single epidemic, injury, stampede, death, anything, right? That's like absolutely Kumbh Mela free of incident. That's the first and topmost priority. Public safety should be absolutely, that's one. The second thing, you want to make experience even better. Once this is ensured, once we ensure that there are not going to be any disasters, this comes primary. The second goal is you have to have a very good experience for every single stakeholder, from Sadhu Mahan to devotees to local citizens of Nashik, every single person. And finally, I would say that we should use this opportunity to brand Nashik at a very, very high level, at a global stage. At one point of time, 90s maybe, early 90s, Nashik was one of the fastest growing cities in the world. And it's time we try to claim that spot again. And if we say that this is India's century, India's decade. So if we talk about India, if we talk about Viksit Bharat, let's talk about Viksit Nashik first. So I think these are the opportunities. Obviously, the tools are to develop a good infrastructure, provide better services. But I think we can do it only if government and private sector can work in excellent sync with each other.
Thank you, sir, for excellent presentation. My name is Krishna Loda. I come from geospatial and remote sensing background. So I wanted to understand, like on a NMC level, are there any opportunities for startup specifically related to remote sensing and geospatial data sets?
So we have NMC commissioner and we have her session also coming up after that. Maybe you can ask that. But as I told you, NMC will have some kind of GIS platform, but it will be only one platform. But you also see this opportunity beyond NMC also. So we already have a lot of data on, let us say, Google Maps. Then there are some government applications like MRSAC applications. And so opportunities are there. For example, you can think of a problem that if you have only n number of rupees, to develop a road, and then the requirement is of 2n. So you have to prioritize, you have to identify which 50% of road length is to be taken up first. And you can do that based on population density, type of traffic, etc., and develop and design a model to ensure that the taxpayers' money is spent in a best possible way. Now, this is a problem that I faced as a government and I noticed it. There may be similar other problems that a citizen faces. And Google Maps solved that one problem of identifying a route of lowest time taken. So you can think of problems in those perspectives which people face and use the data. We have something called India Stack. Unfortunately, we should also start looking towards city stacks now. So we have registries and data at the national level. Maybe it's time we have something similar. I don't know how it's to be done, but I think that's a good idea. We can have something at city level, a city stack with a level playing field to everybody, with a city sandbox, and then allow people, innovative people like you, to come experiment and go to market.
I actually work with National Geospatial Policy very closely. Like what I've realized is that the data is there, but the access of the data, as sir clearly mentioned, is a little bit problematic. So that's what like my
Yes. So it's true that all the data is not yet open to public. It's being done gradually. It's generally done after a lot of consultation. When a doctor's registry and all those registries were made, there were like series of consultation papers asking for suggestions, objections, and things can become legally very complicated. So that process was followed. Maybe you are right. We can put out more data in the public domain. I agree with you fully, but then we will do it within the constraints that government want.
Hello, sir. Hello. Myself, Dr. Pradeep Kagane. I'm the founder of Yashodeep Agrovet startup. Sir, my specific question is, I have developed a wastewater bioremediation solution and want to set up a pilot project with NMC. I have given my proposal in the month of July, but so far there is no action at all. So I request.
Okay, so you are talking to a person who was NMC commissioner.
Yeah.
And we have an incumbent NMC commissioner here. I'm sure she will see what all can be done. As I told, working with government sometimes can become tricky because of a lot of public scrutiny and a lot of rules and processes which we have to work within. But maybe I'll suggest you to talk to her offline after this thing and decide how it can be done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Jairaj. First of all, thank you. Great presentation, very insightful and informative, as well as very impressive. I quite appreciate the registries that the government is making available. I just thought of one more perhaps that could help the Kumbhathon a lot, is a registry of all the innovations that have happened in the Kumbh in 2015, perhaps that is happening this year, so that there's a good distribution of startups that can address the white spaces and gaps that remain, or perhaps even the feedback of making improvements and incremental innovation on top of the services that were provided at the Kumbh. Because I know the Kumbh is a mecca of innovation every time, everywhere, in all over parts of the country, and it's hard to keep a track of what has already happened, and I see a lot of potential in the room today.
Excellent suggestion. This kind of registry is available on, by the way, ABDM website, ABDM Sandbox website. But this is an excellent suggestion so that people are aware what is getting. You don't want to develop two similar products at the same time. I mean, maybe you can focus on the gap which is there in the ecosystem, right?
Yeah. So this is the last question, please.
My name is Sudhindra. Thank you for the nice presentation. I have a question to test is there a problem around people losing their belongings during this Kumbh Mela, the actual event? Could be mobiles, could be jewelry, could be cash, or could be anything that is actually personal and valuable. So at what scale it is, and what is actually being done to actually address those part of losing my items when actually I'm attending an event?
In fact, Kumbh Mela is known for losing the people, right? Nirupar, I would go with two kids. They will get separated. One becomes police officer, other becomes some kind of criminal, and they meet in the final scene, right? Yeah. But last Kumbh was very unique, that there was not a single missing person. When I say so, and now you have raised the bar. You want not a single missing atom. So I don't know how it is to be done. Maybe you have a lot of CCTV feed. She just went out. Lots of CCTV cameras, video feed, they have some kind of video. I mean, this is coming randomly off my mind. Video analytics, you think of a software solution where you can just identify lost and found items, some kind of alert, that is one way. Some kind of crowdsourcing platform where people put the information about what they have lost, and some kind of identification mechanism. So you write incomplete information and then you verify the same thing, same brand, same size, same color, etc. So you can definitely think of those things, and this model, if you develop, may be useful elsewhere, let us say at railway stations or big malls, where you can go and start deploying them. Maybe one of the felt needs.
Thanks.
So many yatras takes place, Pandharpur Yatra and so many yatras.
I think that's a good thought process. That is for the post event, right? So to prevent the event, any kind of an infrastructure that can be set up so that I can secure my items and belongings. Distributed. Yeah, all these minute details will be figured out when we actually plan for minute operational things of lost and found section and something like that. Yes, this will be a small part of the overall Kumbh management. Yes, thank you.